bring you the US Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. He's speaking about that crucial ceasefire deal that's in the offing. Let's listen in.
That I've worked to advance over a dozen trips to the region since October 7th. All of this has been part of an all-of-administration effort, led by President Biden, including Jake Sullivan, Bill Burns, Lloyd Austin, Brett McGurk, Amos Hochstein, Barbara Leaf, and our diplomats across the region and around the globe. Now, more than 15 months later, Hamas's military and governance capacity has been decimated, and the masterminds behind the attack have been killed. Tehran is on its back foot. Its 2 missile attacks on Israel were thwarted by a coalition of regional partners that we assembled. Israel's response, which we played a central role in shaping, demolished Iran's air defenses, left Tehran's most sensitive military sites exposed and vulnerable, and sent a clear message of deterrence, while at the same time avoiding a dangerous escalatory cycle. Hezbollah, Iran's most powerful proxy, is a shadow of its former self. Its leadership eliminated. Its terrorist infrastructure of tunnels and weapons manufacturing ravaged. In Lebanon, Hezbollah's battered forces have retreated north of the Litani River as part of a U.S.-brokered ceasefire agreement. After Iran spent decades pouring billions of dollars into propping up Assad's murderous machinery, the Assad regime has fallen, and Tehran has retreated from Syria. None of Assad's patrons, not Iran, not Russia, not Hezbollah, were in a position to save him this time. All were bogged down in crises of their own making, which the United States effectively exacerbated. Iran has lost its overland supply route to Hezbollah. Many of the Assad regime's bases, weapons factories, and weapons, including illegal chemical weapons, have been destroyed by Israel. It's not just what we achieved, but also what we prevented. When I traveled across the region the days after October 7th, I heard from partners a palpable sense of alarm that regional war was coming. The combination of American diplomatic and military action and assistance to preserve and strengthen Israel's deterrent helped prevent that from happening in the weeks after October 7th and at multiple charged moments since. America's allies and partners, particularly in the Middle East, have taken note of who they can rely on to stand by their friends and who they cannot. Which powers work to diffuse crises and which powers stand back and do nothing or make problems worse. The balance of power in the Middle East is shifting dramatically and not in the way Hamas and its backers hoped or planned. And yet, the region remains rife with risk, from Syria's fragile political transition to Iran's desperation to restore its deterrence with all that could imply for its nuclear ambitions, to the Houthis' ongoing attacks on Israel and international shipping, to a dearth of opportunity, the repression of dissent and human rights in several countries. What's more, while the strategic gains made over the last 15 months are real, they have come at tremendous and excruciating costs. For the families of the kibbutzim, the concert goers, the children, the soldiers killed on October 7th attack, unfathomable grief persists. For those with loved ones and friends still being held hostage, every day brings more anguish from not knowing if their loved ones are suffering or even alive. The ongoing humanitarian crisis in Gaza has inflicted immeasurable suffering on Palestinian civilians, children, women, men, trapped in a conflict they did not start and are powerless to stop. Tens of thousands of people killed in Gaza. Nearly the entire population has lost a loved one. Nearly the entire population is enduring hunger. Nearly the entire population, some 2 million people, has been displaced, many multiple times. Most have no home to go to, as so many homes in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. Gaza is one of the most dangerous places in the world to be a child, to be a civilian, to be a journalist. And as always happens in conflicts, the more people suffer, the less they feel empathy for the suffering of those on the other side. Throughout the Arab and Muslim worlds, large majorities believe that October 7th didn't happen, or if it did, that it was a legitimate attack on Israel's military. In Israel, there is almost no reporting on the conditions in Gaza and what people there endure every day. This dehumanization is one of the greatest tragedies of the conflict. The late Cardinal Martini once spoke of our need to be able to experience shared sorrow. It helps us salvage from moments of loss and despair a sense of common humanity. Without it, we lose one of the most crucial foundations for reconciliation and eventually coexistence. For the United States, a country with unique global engagements and responsibilities, the conflict has put our personnel, our facilities, our assets at greater risk, stretched our force posture, stockpiles, and readiness. Terrorist groups are exploiting the crisis in Gaza to try to boost recruitment and foment anti-American sentiment. Autocrats have cynically used the conflict to justify their aggression and atrocities and to advance their efforts to challenge the international rules and principles that safeguard American interests and values. And of course, it's divided our communities, from college campuses to houses of worship to families. Given the costs, especially the human costs, we have a responsibility to ensure that the strategic gains of the last 15 months endure and lay the foundation for a better future. All too often in the Middle East, we've seen how the shoes of one dictator can be filled by another, or give way to conflict and chaos. How a nation can expel one outside power only to see another take its place. How stamping out one terrorist group can spawn even more lethal successors. So our imperative is not to turn back the clock to the way things were before October 7th. It's to forge a new reality for the Middle East in which all people are more secure, all can realize their national aspirations, all can live in peace. Is that hard to achieve? Yes. Peace in the region always has been.
For over 450 days, Israel has committed genocide against the Palestinian people. We have sent over $25 billion to Israel in the past year. That's $70 of all of our money. $70 that we are using to send weapons, send bombs, and genocide. Blinken, you lied on May 10th to Congress. You lied. ProPublica looked it up. May 10th.
Is it hard? Yes. Is it impossible? No. Is it necessary? Absolutely yes. And that's why we pursued three interrelated diplomatic goals: brokering an enduring solution to the Israel-Hezbollah conflict, ending the war in Gaza, normalizing relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia, which will provide Palestinians and Israelis with the incentives and reassurances that they need to achieve their long-sought national aspirations.